about the second to the last camping trip to Raven's Knob, okay?
Yep.
This was the camp that I went to when I was a kid. So you can imagine, as I'm taking my son, Jeremiah, to that camp, it brought back some incredible memories. I was a counselor there. I was a scout there. I even went to that camp as a provisional, which means when my troop went, I would go, but then I would go by myself because I just love being at Camp Raven Knob. I love the mile hike. And my favorite part of the week was the Wednesday night Order of the Arrow ceremony. And every Wednesday night, they would induct new Order of the Arrow members. And as a younger scout, I used to watch that ceremony and just pray and wish that someday I would be one of those scouts sitting there attentively, that the scout dressed up like an Indian from Wahissa Lodge would come behind me and tap me on the head. All right, because when you got tapped and nobody knew, okay, that they were gonna get tapped on that night, but when you got tapped, it introduced you to a whole entire new world of scouting called Order of the Arrow. And I remember the night that I was sitting there just hoping it was gonna be me. And they tapped me. And what you do is you walk down and then they lead you out into the council fire. You add a log that they give you to the fire. It's the first step. Now, fast forward 3 years. I am now an Order of the Arrow member. I am now Brotherhood, okay, which is the second level. And they allow you to participate in the ceremony doing different things. So you might be tapping the scouts in, but my job was to fire an arrow, okay, across this little water, okay, into this island, all right? And I had a loincloth on, and I walked out, okay, and I would have to shoot the arrow across and hope that the arrow landed in the fire. But if it didn't, then I had to walk across and then I had to light it, or if the arrow was nearby, I had to light, it was an OA sign on top of the fire. So I'd practice all week. I'd hit it every once in a while. And it was always one of those moments that you were just like, gosh, I hope I can do this. Well, you could probably imagine, I get up there, boom, it lands right in front. So no big deal, it happens most years. So I go out, remember I'm wearing a loincloth. That is it, okay? So I walk out, excuse me, the very important part of the story. I grab a torch with the fire and I walk out, and it's only about this deep. And then I'm starting to get out of the water and I realize that my loincloth is coming untied. So I literally have the torch, which I cannot let go of the torch because I've got to light the OA sign, or my loincloth. Okay? So you can imagine, remember, all these people are up there, it's family night watching Order of the Arrow. So I gracefully got up, had my loincloth held up right here, I light the OA sign, and then I have to then dive into the water and swim over to the aquatic staff. Okay? So I put the torch down, dive into the water, there's no more loincloth. So I have to go swim all the way around to the forest because I didn't want to come up with no loincloth on and let family members see it. So I remember that moment for two reasons. All right, A, the opportunity to help other scouts get introduced to OA, but also that was the night that I had to swim a very long extra lap and get into the woods and run up to my tent so I could actually put some clothes on because my loincloth was on. So I hope and pray that each one of y'all get to have the experience of Order of the Arrow. It changed my life, and I'm glad that we all got to experience Raven Knob last camping trip together. So thank you for letting me be here tonight and work with you. I'm very proud of y'all, and we will, not next week, because what's next week? Spring break. But the following week, we will do which numbers?
Hold up.